Welcome back to Kansas City. Today we're going to talk about a fistful of questions. There are going to be 7 questions that need to be asked and answered when you sit down and start exploring a level funded plan. Now, these 7 questions are incredibly important to get answered up front. With level funding, this is a harder sales process. This is a harder process for the business owner and the broker. So if you do not go in this with your eyes wide open, you're going to have a lot of consternation and a lot of upset people along the way, not because the process is impossible, but because if you do not set the timetable up front, people get upset. If you tell your child when you're on a road trip that, hey, we're going to be there tomorrow, right? They're more or less more understanding of it. If you tell them we'll be there soon, then every 30 minutes they're going to say, are we there yet? This is a big philosophical difference. You need to set the table up front with the client, if you're the broker, or if you're the business owner, with your employees and your broker. If you're bringing level funded to your broker and saying, no, I need to look at this for my family of employees because these costs are way out of line, know this up front. It takes longer to get a level funded quote. So the first thing, that first question you need to ask is, do we have enough time to get this done properly? Now, really, you should be at 30 to 60 days on small group. The closer you are to 45 or more, the better off you're going to be. But you need to ask that question right up front. The second question you're going to want to ask as the business owner or the broker is, why are we here? What are we trying to solve? Different business owners have different desires and needs for their certain situation. Some of them are looking to reduce employee churn. They might see a bunch of their key employees leaving, and benefits is the number one named issue. Okay, fine. We need to find a way inside of the budget to offer better benefits to get that stem of people leaving to be shortened down. Or it might be, I'm the business owner, I'm having a really hard time right now. I need to lower my costs or else I don't know if I can stay in business. I'm looking at another 25%, 20% fully insured rate increase, and I've got a kid going to college. So I'm looking at this saying, do I continue to offer benefits or do I pay for little Johnny's college? That's a real decision that a lot of small business owners have to make because costs inside of American health finance have gotten so big. So that's question number 2. Why are we here? Right? Question number 1 is, how long do we have? Question 2 is, what are we trying to solve? Why are we here? Question number 3 that we need to solve. What are things that we will not come off of? If there is a network or a system of doctors or a hospital system that you absolutely have to have inside of this, realize that up front so you don't put in a bunch of extra work and then only to have it at the 11th hour, the wife of the boss saying, I will not go to that hospital. I have to have this hospital and network. So you can do a lot of work up front. If you don't know those things that are going to be deal killers later on, you can invest your time with zero return. Most of the time, if you set the table up front, then you'll realize that a lot of those end of the decision cycles that kill deals actually don't exist, but you need to set them up front. So if the business owner goes to his wife or his key employee saying, Bobby, we're going to need to make some changes on the health plan. If we can do it while continue to offer benefits or offering better benefits, are you going to be all right? Are you going to hate me tomorrow if we have to leave regional and only go to Methodist, for an example, inside of the hospital systems? Know those questions up front. And by doing that, you take away the ammo of the person who wants to kill it later on. And those people tend to be either spouses or they tend to be HR departments who are not rewarded for lowering the cost. They only see the additional work of, hey, we have to change this, we have to communicate this with the employees. So make sure you have that meeting up front of what are your non-negotiables. This is the time to do it, up front and early. Number 4 is time frame. How long are we trying to solve for? Now, many small businesses, they are an expression of the business owner. This is how they represent themselves to their community. This is who they are. So their time frames are much, much longer. But you do have a movement of private equity or more numbers-driven, less human-driven return on capital operators, and they're only looking for a 1-year time horizon. It might be that they're bonused off of their 1-year profit, not off the long-term value of the plan. Know that up front. So if you have a group that wants just the first year and is willing to surrender all of their future pieces, you as the broker, I would say you need to coach them on long-term value, because that long-term value helps you protect them long-term or over the renewals, which helps you have a better book of business. And two, if they are adamant that they only want to plan for this year, fine. Realize the client is driving the boat. They're building their own plan, but it's going to make it harder on you to retain them long-term because you're giving up things like surplus. You're giving up things like store credit. Those pieces are going away. So know their long-term goals and what they're looking for. Question number 5, and this is going to be one that comes up all the time. They're going to ask the question, what's the catch? Why haven't I heard about this before? You know, there's an old line, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Well, folks, level funding sounds fantastic if you don't set the table up front, but there's a massive catch, which is it's a whole heck of a lot more work for the broker. So if the broker is not willing to do the extra work, then you're not going to get there. If the business owner is not willing to give those forms, which is going to be number 6, then you're not going to get there. So the catch is you need to be much more thorough, and we're doing a thing called underwriting throughout this process. So if the business owner is saying, what's the catch? Well, the catch is underwriting. The catch is actually pricing the group to what your expected claims are. This is a lot more work for both the business owner and the CFO or comptroller or the broker, depending on how it's structured. Number 6, you need these forms. The forms that you're going to need in general are going to be on small group, are going to be IHQs or individual health questionnaires, which takes 5 to 10 minutes from each one of the enrolling employee members. Very short for the ones that are waiving coverage. Number 2 is the quarterly wage and tax. Now, this is filed in most every state that I can think of with the state, but it's who's actually on the plan. And you're going to need that up front. So set the table with the business owner, or if you're the business owner, make sure that you're already working on gathering this, because those documentations help us underwrite more accurately. And the more accurate the underwriting, the less you as the business owner on Main Street have to subsidize other people who are not going through this model. Number 7 is, what do we plan to do to enrich this plan or this set of benefits for the employees long term? Now, this is a massive philosophical difference. With level funded plans, if you build these over time for the employees inside of the group, you get more buy-in. You get more direction of care where the members inside of them are actually being prudent with the assets. Now, I've said this a number of times on videos, but in general, nobody spends their own money as prudently as they spend somebody else's. So the more you can advance these plans and showing the members of the groups that this is partially their money, the better off you will be long term. Now, this goes back to one earlier about the plan owner surrendering their future for the lowest cost now. Okay, realize you'll pay for that later. So the fundamental change here is, when do you want to work hard? Do you want to continue to work hard year over year over year? Or do you want to work really hard right now, knowing that most of the time you'll have a better year and a better future coming forward? Now, the American way is to invest in the future. That's the old school Main Street ethos. There's another way of saying, take it all now, burn it all down. That's not what these are built for. If you're willing to invest in multiple years, if you're willing to look at this and say, I want to enrich this for my employees, I want to give them the best future possible, I want to take care of my people and reduce my cost, but I know that myself and my broker are going to have to do a lot more work up front, then level funding is a great way to chase. Those are the 7 questions you need to answer when you're coming into this. If you don't answer them, there's going to be headaches that come up because of it. But with that, keep fighting for Main Street, have some fun. America's not dead. She's just being reborn. We'll see you in a bit.